officers' canes, water bottles, and just different plaques naming the regiment. And every soldier carried one of these shovels, because World War I was a lot of trench warfare, and pocket knives, belts that soldiers would carry with miscellaneous materials. And this here claw would have been used for self-defense, because a lot of times the Germans wouldn't, attack a trench, and hence the swords and the knives for that, for defending themselves. And these binoculars down here in the corner, you see the way the design of them, they would be for looking out from the trench, where you wouldn't get shot. Because you see how they go up when you look over?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they were for.
Mm-hmm.
Like say, all this here would be pertaining to World War I, and like a lot of trench warfare, which a lot of the fighting was out of trenches. And they dug all of them trenches themselves. Then we get into the female aspects of war, which was a lot of females in World War I and II. This would be a nurse's uniform. And this lady would have been local. Like most of our stuff in here is from local individuals donated by the families. And this would be grenades, different kind of grenades that would have been used in World War I, and field glasses. And a picture of our King George III. And different items pertaining to the battalion that went overseas, different individuals, miscellaneous products. They would have had like pliers. That would be for the barbed wire, because there was a lot of barbed wire in World War I. And this is for the pipe band. All regiments usually have a pipe band, and we have one as well. We have a bagpiper, drummer, marching band, you could call them also. Some of the military dress. Now we're getting up to World War II. And the Sergeant Major, what he would have wore, his uniform. They always have a cane, if you want to call it that they would carry in their hand for marching. And uniformed officers, that would be local guys here from the local area. And just different items like the tanks, the Sherman tank that would have been used, transport truck, miscellaneous stuff in there. Pictures, because World War II, in 1936, the Gray County Regiment and the Simcoe County Regiment, we combined, and then we were called the Gray and Simcoe Foresters, like we are called today. And that plaque, this here, shows a picture of the Gray and Simcoe Foresters. And in World War II, we were made up of 2 battalions we raised in this area in Gray County. 1 battalion went over and 1 battalion stayed here. And this would reflect the nurse's uniform at that time. And it's like donated by a local family. The nurse's uniform. Most of the stuff in here, there's a few replicas, but a lot of this stuff is original and donated by the families. Some of it is on loan too, also from the families. And nurse uniforms again that women would wear in the army. Donated again. And next to this cabinet, this was Roscoe Fell. This would be his uniform, and in here he served in World War I and World War II. And this is the write-up about him and his medals. And this stuff is all original, donated by his family. And the miniatures you see in here, all vehicles of World War II, is made by one of our Neil Craig. He's one of our volunteers to give tours here. He made all this stuff, representing all the military, most military vehicles at that time. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And this would have been the swords that they carried.
SAS badge there. Who dares wins.
Yes. And the uniform. And behind you is the Devil's Brigade. And the Devil's Brigade is not the proper name, but this is the first Special Service Force. It was a joint task force between the U.S. and Canada, and these guys did everything: paratrooping, climbing mountains, you name it. Well trained, trained in the U.S., a good representation from Canada. And why this is here, because this gentleman here, he's actually from this area. This is his uniform, this is his medals. And I think this is on loan from his family. I forget his name right offhand. It should be on here. Oh yeah, W.A.F. Harris. And the name Devil's Brigade was put on by the Germans because they feared these guys, because they would get in behind enemy lines. I don't want to be too here, but they would say, kill the enemy, leave tags, we would hear, and leave and never be seen or heard. And when this happened a lot, and the Germans were very afraid. Well, they called these guys devils. So that's where the Devil's Brigade came from. And they're very well trained, won a lot of battles. They were used, unfortunately, when things were quiet and they weren't on certain maneuvers, they would be used for ordinary fighting. But these guys were a special operation and a great task force between the Americans and us. And like I say, very, very feared. Very feared, and say got quite a few accommodations. And actually, we have two guys from the local area who are still working on the family for getting the other guys, gentlemen, stuff in here. Some families like to leave it in boxes to have it, but if you put stuff on loan in here, it's still yours. You can come and get it when you want. So. And over here we go. This here we're working on progress. And this will be some pictures of Gray and Simcoe Foresters for the camp boarding, where they did a lot of training before they were overseas. Helmets, different things that the everyday soldier would use. Communication device. Gas mask, like was very prevalent in World War I, because the Germans started using gas. I don't know how effective that would be, but it's got a self-contained container. But that kind of thing, and different tools they would use, field glasses, grenades, and this here is a landmine basically, right here, anti-tank, so if a vehicle drove over that, an ordinary vehicle, would not fare too well. And a communication device. And communication at that time all had to be run, not like today, run by wires, so gentlemen would have to be out in battlefields making sure the communication wires, if they were cut or broken, they would have to go out and repair them and not get killed. And that's a lot of representation of what you got there in this cabinet and the uniform at that time. Gentleman wore at Dieppe, and he would have been a local gentleman as well. And same thing again as World War I. We raised the battalion, went overseas, and we were broken up for reinforcements, so we never fought as a combined unit again. You know, individual things as opposed to the Gray and Simcoe Foresters Regiment. It's unfortunate, but still a lot of guys did a lot of great deeds over there. And at that time, because of the Depression, and after the 30s, because World War I was the war to end all wars. That was the idea. Then when things started to happen in mid-30s, what Hitler started to do, then it was late, and Canada, we had 4,500 individuals in the army when this war started. We had about 12,000 reserve unit, like Gray and Simcoe Foresters is a reserve unit of the Canadian Army, not full-time army. But we got up to speed pretty fast, because it was over 600,000 Canadians that fought in World War II. And then we get up to modern day peacekeeping, Bosnia, all trouble spots in the world. Canada, Germany, after the World War II. Canada was over in Germany for many years. Peacekeeping in many different areas of the world, but it would be genocide over there trying to keep the peace. Unfortunately, I know a peacekeeper, and most peacekeepers, if there's any kind of conflict, you're either green means you're good to go, or red means you do nothing. No matter what happens in front of you, you stand there. So unfortunately, that's a part of peacekeeping, the negative part of it. And this is gets to more peacekeeping. Korea, soldiers uniform from Korea. And obviously, like I said, peacekeeping was a very big part of the Grey and Simcoe Foresters through the years. I know gentlemen today that did a lot of peacekeeping in Bosnia and different areas. And display here is Brigadier General John Hayter. He'll be 90 years old this June. This is all his accolades, what he did. He was a commander of a unit in Korea, and he was the youngest military commander at that time. And he served right across this country. I think he told me in every province, and he's still doing pretty good. You always kind of pinpoint him.